Ukraine has destroyed over 40 Russian fighter jets using a swarm of drones in a covert operation called Spider's Web. This strike crippled some of Russia's most sophisticated bombers deep inside its own territory, a tactical success for Ukraine, but also a glimpse into the future of unmanned warfare. Let's break down what exactly happened, what are unmanned combat aerial vehicles, and how they are shaping the battlefield and changing the rules of the war. On 1st of June 2025, Ukraine's security service, the SBU, executed a meticulously planned operation codenamed Spider's Web. Over 18 months in the making and personally overseen by President Volodymyr Zelensky, the mission saw 117 drones launched from inside Russian territory. These drones were hidden in the roofs of wooden sheds transported by trucks. These were driven close to Russian airfields and then their roofs were remotely triggered to release swarms of quadcopters. Zelensky revealed how Ukrainian operatives managed to set up and run their nerve center for the operation right under Russia's nose and successfully withdrew all the personnel from Russian territory. Zelensky said that the quote-unquote office coordinating Ukraine's Operation Spider's Web was located directly next to the headquarters of Russia's Federal Security Service in one of the Russian regions. He added that the Ukrainian personnel operated across several Russian regions in 3 different time zones. These drones struck 5 Russian airbases spread across thousands of kilometers, reportedly damaging or destroying at least 41 military aircraft, including nuclear-capable bombers Tu-95 and Tu-22M3. and early warning planes A-50. According to Zelensky, 34% of the strategic cruise missile carriers stationed at air bases were hit. The result? An estimated $2 billion in damage and a direct hit at Russia's strategic air power. Ukraine's recent strike deep into Russia over 4,000 kilometers from the border indicates possible lapses in radar coverage or operational vigilance. This may be less about capability and more about alertness. The Russian military might have been simply caught napping. The obvious question that followed: why did Russia not shoot them down? At first glance, this looks like a shocking lapse. Russia is one of the world's most heavily militarized states, with a vast network of radars, S-400 systems, and anti-air batteries. It should be able to defend its own skies, especially against small and slow drones. But the truth is more layered. Let's break it down. First, this is a classic case of old systems facing new threats. These Ukrainian drones aren't traditional military aircraft. They fly low, slow, and are built with commercial parts, making them hard to spot on radar. Russia's systems are geared to detect jets and missiles, not something the size of a Land Rover engine with wings. Second, there is the possibility of complacency. After more than 2 years of war, it's possible Russia's interior defenses simply let their guards down. There may have been personal lapses, fatigue, or just an assumption that Ukraine would not or could not strike that deep. Third, it's a matter of resources. With Russia focusing most of its air defense near the front lines or around critical infrastructure like Moscow and Crimea, there is only so much coverage to go around. And with the growing use of drone swarms, even advanced systems can get overwhelmed. Some might even suggest that Russia allowed the strike to happen as a pretext for escalation. But that is unlikely. The political cost of such a move, especially one that makes Russian military capability look porous, is too high. So, what does this really say? It tells us that modern warfare is shifting fast. Small, cheap drones can outmaneuver billion-dollar systems. And even the most powerful militaries in the world are struggling to keep up with this new kind of asymmetric warfare. Russia was not necessarily incapable, but on this day, it was unprepared, and that's just as dangerous. Unmanned aerial vehicles include both combat and non-combat drones. Combat drones, also known as unmanned combat aerial vehicles, are pilotless aircraft with weapons to carry out precision strikes. In contrast, non-combat drones are primarily used for intelligence gathering, reconnaissance, and surveillance. They do not carry any weapons. There are different types of combat drones. For instance, strike drones. These drones are designed for precision strikes and offensive operations against enemy targets. They carry missiles or bombs. Some of the examples of strike drones are USA-made MQ-9 Reaper, Turkey's Bayraktar TB2 and TAI Anka, China's Wing Lung 2 and Russia's Kronstadt Orion. Another category of combat drones include loitering munitions. They are also called as Kamikaze drones. These drones loiter around an area and crash into targets and explode on impact. These include Israel's IAI Harop, Russia's Lancet, USA's Switchblade, and Iran's Shahed 136 drones. Some of the combat drones are multirole drones that combine surveillance capabilities with strike capabilities, often switching between roles as needed. These include USA's MQ-1C Grey Eagle, Israel's Heron TP, and China's CH-4 Rainbow. Another category of combat drones include electronic warfare combat drones. These are equipped to jam or disrupt enemy communications and radar, sometimes with strike capability. Some of these are EA-18G Growler UAV variant from USA, S-70 Okhotnik B from Russia. Another category of drones used for combat purposes are swarm drones. These are small, networked drones deployed in large numbers to overwhelm defenses or conduct attacks against enemy targets. These include USA's Perdix. Sometimes in battlefields, anti-strike drones or counter-drone technologies are also used. These are systems designed to detect, track and neutralize hostile drones. India's DRDO anti-drone system is an example, which can detect drones up to 4 kilometers, jams signals up to 2 kilometers, and can destroy laser up to 1 to 2.5 kilometers. Many combat drones also use artificial intelligence for navigation, target selection, and even autonomous decision-making. In the latest attack on Russian airbases, multiple reports suggested that Ukraine also used AI-powered first-person view, that is FPV, attack drones. Drones pose a growing threat to regional and international security. The Houthis, for instance, have dramatically escalated their use of drones. In 2016, Houthi militia shot down a Saudi spy drone over the Al-Qaeda military base in Jazan in Saudi Arabia. In July 2024, a Houthi drone reportedly flew 2,600 kilometers to reach Tel Aviv. In early 2025, the Houthis shot down 7 US Reaper drones worth over $200 million, a big material loss for the US military in Yemen. In the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh war between Azerbaijan and Armenia, Azerbaijan's extensive use of Turkish-made Bayraktar TB2 drones and Israeli loitering munitions was decisive, enabling precision strikes on Armenian armor, artillery, and air defenses and shifting the balance of power in their favor. The conflict is widely regarded as a watershed moment for drone warfare. Even as recent as 2025, when Pakistan used Turkish-origin Aziz Guard Songar drones to target military and civilian sites in India, Indian armed forces under Operation Sindoor countered them by reportedly deploying Israeli-origin Harop and Sky Striker loitering munitions. And now, the Spider's Web operation is another example of how unmanned systems are transforming military strategy. Drones can be produced and deployed at a fraction of the cost of traditional fighter jets or missiles. Their ability to strike deep behind enemy lines, evade detection, and be operated remotely or autonomously is changing the calculus for military planners worldwide. For instance, Ukraine's Spider's Web operation included the Belaya airbase in Irkutsk, about 4,300 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, and the Olenia Air Base in South Murmansk, some 1,800 kilometers from Ukraine. Combat drones are now integral to modern arsenals. These systems can disrupt supply lines, destroy high-value targets, and gather real-time battlefield intelligence, all while minimizing risk to personnel. One of the most significant shifts in recent years is the realization that massive defense budgets are no longer the only path to battlefield dominance. With relatively modest investments in unmanned technology, it's possible to inflict disproportionate damage on a technologically superior adversary such as Russia. This signals a future where wars may be fought not just with tanks and jets, but with swarms of intelligent, expendable machines capable of striking anywhere, anytime, and at a cost that makes traditional defense models obsolete. As drone warfare rises, laser systems are emerging to counter it. These are being rapidly deployed under different categories. One of the categories is directed energy UCAV weapons. These are laser systems integrated into UCAVs for air defenses, such as MQ-9B module. Portable laser weapons are compact, soldier-carried laser systems, for example, Helma LP. Another category is ground-based laser weapons. These are stationary or vehicle-mounted systems for air defenses, for example, DRDO system and Iron Beam. Lastly, there is ground naval laser weapons. These are systems deployable on land or naval platforms, for example, Trizoob. In a world where drone swarms are becoming the new face of warfare, fast, smart, and hard to stop, nations are now building their digital shield, directed energy weapons or DEWs. Think of it this way, just like computer viruses forced to build antivirus software, drone attacks have forced us to invent laser-based defense systems that can shoot threats out of the sky at the speed of light. DEWs are silent, precise, and powerful, a clean energy weapon that does not run out of bullets. Whether mounted on vehicles, ships, or even drones themselves, these systems are designed to neutralize incoming UAVs before they hit. But here is the real shift. Wars are no longer about sheer military muscle. They are about who can build these smarter, faster, more responsive electronic systems. This isn't just combat anymore, it's electronic warfare, fought with algorithms, optics, and code. The battlefield has gone digital, and the future belongs to those who can think faster than they can fire.